Are you signing into YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe throw them a message. We're going up now?
Yep.
Oh, I see the circle.
Live.
We're up?
Yep.
Alrighty then.
A little redundant. We're live.
Alright, we're up. Finally.
Yes.
Alright guys, well, I just want to welcome you guys on YouTube stream to the show. We're here.
Yes.
And all is well.
It looks good. Looks really good.
So, alright. So
Yep.
today, let's get going.
Alright.
We got to get moving. Alright. So a lot of things going on. First off, we have I would say the status quo as far as how everybody is treating Trump. The hypocrisy, the double standards, the inconsistencies abound. And it's really the way it's been since the beginning. This latest thing was, and we got a video later that illustrates it a little bit more directly. But this latest thing is how you see right now Donald Trump saying he was being spied on, and it comes out in, what was it called, Vault 7,
yeah,
a WikiLeaks release, allegedly detailing the exact capabilities of the CIA,
yeah,
and what they've been doing, aside from what they're capable of doing, what they've actually been doing. Things like every single microphone and camera can be controlled remotely. They're basically listening to everybody. They're everywhere. And to think that, and there were a couple things when it came to the information on Mike Flynn that got out that eventually led to his resignation. There are only a certain couple of ways that this information could have gotten out to the press, and it's really either a leak, inside the administration itself, or a capability on an outside entity, an outside player, that accessed the information and shared it. We have Obama setting up shop not too far from the White House. He has living in his house what's the lady's name? His advisor, Valerie Jarrett, I believe it is. And the idea being, like, understood that he is, basically mounting what amounts to like an insurgency. Like, I really don't know how to describe what it is that he has been described as doing, aside from he is forming another entity to combat, I'll say initially legally maybe, but to combat the current administration. Where have we ever seen this? Where have we ever seen a president, leave office and not go back? We had Bush went back to Texas. Fucking Clinton went back to Arkansas. Like, why is Barack Obama still hanging out trying to influence policy?
I don't know.
Again, just when you look at power-hungry motherfuckers who wouldn't have made a goddamn dollar if it wasn't for politics, it kind of makes sense. This is the source of power. Of course they're going to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
So, 347-855-8999. The Ben Carson slaves and immigrants quote. We're at a point now where everybody is trying to set up dialogue to be so controversial. Why is it that if you say that a slave has some of the same aspirations once they're here, the same aspirations as any other immigrant, why that's controversial? Like, how does that denigrate or belittle or undermine, devalue, the experience or the hardship that slaves went through? I don't know who I was talking to recently, but it came up in a conversation. There are slaves that, and this will get me in a hell of a lot more hot water than, or it won't get me hot water, but if it was said by a politician, it might be the end of their careers.
Yeah.
You know, there were slaves who were being fed while freemen starved. You know, there were slaves that were taking, because I mean, basically, it's
like livestock. You have to.
It's livestock. Yeah, you got to fucking preserve the fucking the animals.
Feed your investment.
Right, and there was an incentive, some people, to keep these people alive. Now, obviously, it's slavery and everything that goes along with that. The experience, it sucks, but does it suck any more than being like a child in some fucking, rural slum somewhere, starving to fucking death, or suffering from some sort of, sickness and disease. Yeah. Like there's a point where if you start trying to get the head seat at the victim table, it becomes fucking ridiculous. Like, it all sucked, by the way. It was all terrible. You had people coming here from different European countries at the turn of the 20th century where, whereby they had absolutely no support network. There was no, assistance from anybody. No. Let alone the government.
The opposite.
People, right.
Usually.
They came here for the opportunity. But all that being said, if you're looking at immigrants, and you're trying to just illustrate and talk on the one observation of being an immigrant that has one aspire to have their future generations prosper, or at least climb up the ladder, of prosperity, like why why looking to include slaves in that is a bad thing is beside me. Wouldn't you want to include them in that?
No, because you're not allowed to talk about slaves.
Right, and the whole thing is, it's like, chance forbid, you talk about slaves being, humans. Because basically Ben Carson said even the slaves wanted their kids to do better, wanted to be better.
Yeah.
So to remove his ability to lump them into that category is saying that, they were just fucking animals. They were like...
Yeah. They were like cows and shit.
Gotta eat these beans,
Yeah. That's it.
We sick, massa. That is the limitation of who they are. So it's and this is again the hypocrisy of what we see on the other side of the aisle right now. Anything to just trigger an emotional reaction is, supported. Whether or not it's completely hypocritical, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, since this whole thing came out, it's like, and the video we're going to show later has, Obama saying basically the same fucking thing.
Same fucking thing.
And then fucking Talcum X, Talcum X, Sean King.
Oh.
The white guy who thinks he's black.
Yeah, I get it now. Talcum X, that's good.
Talcum X, not mine, but
it's pretty funny.
It's incredible. Talcum X, they found...
I never heard that before. That's a good one.
They found a fucking little excerpt from some article he wrote where he said the same thing. Where he said immigrants... No, he didn't. He said the same thing in parentheses. He had said immigrants, and in parentheses says, whether they were forced immigrants or not, something to that effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just hypocrisy.
It is. It's silly.
Complete hypocrisy.
Can't talk about slaves.
Can't talk about slaves.
Nope.
347-855-8999.
I want to hear. I wonder if there's any statistics for when slaves went from being fed to not being fed. Like, what happened?
What are you talking about?
Like, once they were no longer slaves. So they're like, there's probably a handful, at least a statistic of, where they were like, I don't want to be free.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm getting everything paid for. I'm doing all right. And they're like, nope, you got to go. And I'm not paying you anymore. Go be free. And they're like, but I don't know how. It's like a fucking, like a zoo animal you let into the fucking, into the wild.
That's when the NBA started.
Oh.
Because they needed something.
I'm sure there's statistics of people that, like, didn't do very well.
Yeah, Thomas Sowell has, he's collected a lot of information on the post-slavery black experience. And, he talks about the integrity of the families. He talks about the willingness for a lot of those now freed slaves to earn their keep. But I would imagine it makes sense that a lot of them, that's what they know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know that there are certain people in this world now, 2017, where they have no entrepreneurial drive.
Yeah.
And I don't make a value judgment where that's concerned. I mean, the old phrase, somewhat relatable, is the world needs ditch diggers too.
The world needs ditch diggers too.
And
That's correct.
I would say, admittedly, one of my mistakes early on in running my businesses was just assuming that everybody wanted to be a boss too one day. It was a mistake that I made, and it's one that I had to learn to accept and just understand that everybody's nature is different. And some people want to be a part of a team. And they want to be valuable, but they want their responsibilities defined for them. They basically want to know the rules of the game. And they want to play the game well, but they want somebody else to give them the rules of the game. An entrepreneur it's a different mindset. So who knows? But it's almost like a Stockholm syndrome, sort of. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Being a slave and
Institutionalized.
Yeah.
Prison.
Well, yeah.
Get out of prison. It's like you were so used to prison that
Great scene in what was it? A Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
The old white guy.
Yep.
Hangs himself because he didn't know what else to do, what else to be.
Did not know.
It makes sense.
Morgan Freeman just started doing voiceover work, so he found his niche in that movie.
Oh yeah, the voice of God.
He started doing voiceover work. You saw they had a funny clip of him like just narrating people on the street. It was pretty good. He's like, this guy's walking with a selfie stick. Look at him walking, trying to take the perfect selfie. It was pretty funny. And at the end, he's like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Fucking selfie stick. Like, that's what he said, like, on the side. It was pretty funny. Morgan Freeman.
Got a call.
Awesome.
What's up? You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it is Esteban.
Esteban, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, brother. How you doing?
All is well. All is well. What is poppin', my friend?
I'm so tired of everybody using the slave card or the minority card. I got friends who they say, they're black, and they say, oh, well, back in the day. I said, what the hell do you know about the slaves?
Mm-hmm.
Your great-great-grandmother probably wasn't even a slave.
Yep.
I feel that anyone who pulls a race card or a slave card, that's their last grasp at trying to win whatever they're trying to win as far as, their theory of trying to get to some higher portion of their lives where they can make a difference to spread out whatever bullshit they're trying to spread out.
Yeah, I think...
Get a fucking shit spreader and spray it around if you want, but it's the same thing.
I would say that even that's giving them too much credit. I would say that, sure, it's absolutely the last straw for a lot of people, but I think probably more deviously, I think right off the bat for a lot of people, it's just a tool designed to undermine any integrity of their argument, or the integrity of the other person's argument for purely manipulative, purposes. They're doing it not because they believe it. They're doing it because it's a way in this society nowadays to just disarm anybody else's motivation to argue against them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. They're tugging at the strings because everything from when they started saying you can't beat your kids and started saying you have to be nice to the kids in the school, everything starts softening up to where now you have people who feel awkward when they talk about black people, whether it becomes about race or whatever, because they automatically assume that Black Lives Matters, and they start throwing out Malcolm X and and Martin Luther King Jr. Rest in peace. He was a great man, but he did it the right way. He didn't go out and I live in Missouri. That shit that happened in Ferguson was ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay, everything always has to happen because of a race card, which none of them probably even know 25% of what they're even talking about as far as the history of why they're talking about being held by the man down and it's ridiculous. And I just think with Trump in, hopefully he toughens everything up. things start getting more realistic. And yeah, he may have a little quirkiness about stuff he says and everything, but you know what? It's a matter where if we can't take care of the shit that's going on here in the United States first, then everything else is going to be a weakness shown to other countries, and ISIS and all these other Middle Eastern places and everything. They're going to come and they're going to say, okay, good, we're getting them from the inside. They're doing us a favor. Meanwhile, we got people fighting each other around here, cops against blacks, whites against the Muslims, mosques getting blown up and burnt down. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
Take care of your family. Look at who your friends are. Have them as friends if they are productive in your life. If not, see ya. Nice to meet you. And if you take care of the shit that's in your own life first, it'd be amazing how some of these bastards will realize, oh, shit ain't that bad if I act right.
Right. I agree. I agree with everything aside from Martin Luther King being a good man, but I think he was a socialist piece of shit. But I get your point. I don't think it undermines your point at all. I'm going to let you go though, Esteban. I appreciate the call.
All right, now, brother. Brother. You guys stay safe, and hail to you guys.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, brother. Thank you.
So, absolutely right.
Yeah, solid call.
The thing is, it's so easy to get distracted by these just idiotic, sort of conflicts that is set up by media, that is set up by politicians, because these distractions give us something to be preoccupied with. It's in application, I would say, very akin to reality TV and all these different things that go on in pop culture that have absolutely nothing to do with our ability to thrive, to grow, to become more free, to express ourselves, individually. It's really just let somebody else dictate what is cool, and then let's all vie for a spot, on the spectrum that's them. It's the video game culture.
Yep.
It's the
instant gratification.
Instant gratification. It's the reality TV culture. It's the why somebody like the Kardashian.
Cash me outside.
Yeah, like that little fucking
holy shit.
Whatever.
I don't even know how old she is.
She's got to be like 14, which is why I stopped my comment.
Something like that.
Right,
13, 14, young,
ignorant, just waste. Famous and making money.
$30,000 per public appearance.
Yeah.
That's how much. That's our price tag.
And is going to get a reality show.
Probably, which is older, a different type of reality show. But I digress.
Yeah. So it's really it's the same old fucking tune, and the whole thing is if you don't, and I'll just do a little plug right here. If you guys have not seen episode 1 of Function First,
yeah,
you gotta check it out. It's on the membership site. All legacy members, meaning existing members prior to the first of this month, you guys are going to have access. The people who have joined this month, 2-year members, power members, you guys get access to the videos as they come out. You have access to all the other programs. Eventually, there's going to be 3 episodes. Once the 3rd episode is out, we'll make the whole thing able to be added on to somebody's membership. But I talk at great length about why function needs to drive us, and so much of what that program is about is this.
Yeah.
Is why do we have a value system that places any sort of significance, morally, on things that have absolutely nothing to do with the success of our tribe, the success of our lives, the pursuit of our, fate, our destinies,
Yeah, 13. American Viking says she's 13.
13, holy shit. Another call.
Cool.
What's up? You're on the air. Is this my boy Ricardo?
Brother!
What's up?
What's going on, brother man? How you doing?
I'm good. How did you know it was me? Have you been tapping my wires?
I'm on the fucking horn. Sign up for a website. It said listentoawhiteguy.com.
Tapping my wires. I know it.
That's right.
Activating your mic.
I just turned on your camera.
I'm good.
I can see you right now.
What's going on, brother man?
Nothing. I just wanted to give a call and tell the world that our president is a goddamn genius. I knew he was a genius before, but he basically did a political version of a double leg to Barack Obama this week.
Yep.
Fucking amazing. With one tweet.
Yep.
It's like unbelievably skilled manipulator of people who are full of shit.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I can only attest that to his experience in business from dealing with these shallow, power-hungry, manipulative bastards in the business world. He has now translated that over to the government. You have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, so my voice is a little hoarse. But he's unfucking believable. The whole week, all I heard was Russia, 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 how much Russia. With one tweet, he took the entire narrative and destroyed all of them in one day, in 10 seconds. Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's a genius. I'm so glad he is the president.
Yeah, it's the ride's just begun. The adventure is gonna I think gonna lead us to a lot of interesting places over these next 7 years and 10 months. But the
11 months.
Right, the brilliance of Trump. I was just talking about earlier. I was watching a video where there was a photo op, a bunch of kids walking through the White House, and on some school tour, and like Trump appeared like from behind a curtain somewhere, and like all the kids are screaming like Beatles in the '60s style, for him, and he's hugging the kids, making some pictures and stuff like that, and it was just I thought a microcosm of how he knows exactly where to appear, but how to disappear, how to put himself in a favorable light, how to put people on blast. He's basically, we were talking about playing by the rules a little while ago. He's created his entire own set of rules that he's playing by, and because he refuses to play the game that everybody else is playing.
Yeah, they're floundering. They can't keep up with him. I mean, that's just all I could say is that they're constantly. He's a feeder. He's just constantly ahead of the curve, and no matter which tactic they choose to try and throw him off. They go for the jugular, he goes to the carotid. They go for the carotid, he goes to the blue one. It's amazing. He's very deft at recovering from what other people would be just floundering in disaster. The whole thing with Sessions and all the way they try to, these typical common ways of spinning in his way of him getting what he wants to get. And he's just like, oh, well, okay, that didn't work. Here's 4 other things. Like what he did with immigration. Did you see his latest executive order? So they stood in the way of his last executive order, which was reasonable. So he said, all right, fuck you all. No immigration from any of those countries. Oh, and 120 days for all immigration. Goodbye. Incredible.
Yeah, he's. I thought there would be sort of a learning curve in the beginning of him trying to figure out exactly, how the buttons work that he has access to now. But he is moving at a rate that I didn't even expect him to be able to accomplish, Yeah,
and like I said, I've always said, and I'm sure you'll agree with me because we've discussed this at length, is like, I don't know the man. From everything I can see, from all behavior recorded in public, even when he's not being recorded in public, when he was at his hotel the other day and he had his steak dinner. Unfortunately, I missed him by one day. I'm hoping sometime in the next 7 years to actually catch him there just so I can see this guy in person.
Right.
But it's just as if for a purely observational reason. But I missed him by one day, but he didn't know he was being monitored, and there was nothing. They tried to find out, his steak was too well done. What? Okay, so he liked his steak well done. Maybe he had a bad experience with salmonella once. Who knows,
Right.
I mean,
right.
But that's the most they could pull out of that is that, well, his steak was too well done, and what kind of person does that? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the best you could do. This is what you could find. Like, if you were to do that to George Bush, he'd probably be taking coke off a hooker's pit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Right.
It's a matter of they're digging and digging and digging, attempting to find something which they can latch onto, and he just throws it off like water, just shrugs it off next, shrugs it off next.
What
Very
was
impressive, I have to say that.
What was the topic that they were discussing the other day? I think it was the cost of protecting him on the CNN network, the fucking Clinton News Network. Don Lemon, his show. There was like a black guy who was on his show who was
freed slave.
At one point was like, this is fake news. Like during like on the topic, talking about the topic.
That's when he had a fit and walked off.
Right, he stopped it. Like, how did Don Lemon take over fucking CNN suddenly? How did he become the guy? He's a fucking hack. He's always been a hack. He's been caught many, many times completely manipulating the viewer. He is about as biased as it gets. But it's to the point now where, and I guess this is a testament to how dumbed down the society is. Like, how does he even gain the traction to be able to mount a career doing what he does? It doesn't even make sense. It's like, listen, you're a bad fucking shill because everybody knows you're a shill.
Yeah, it's becoming apparent that they're not reporters. He's not a journalist. He's not what we would traditionally, not the traditional 1960s run into a phone booth with the story. Oh, I like in Daredevil, I've cracked the case. He's with my reporting. They're not that. They're actors. They're
Right.
not reporters. They're actors. They're put in place
Performers.
to be a face, to tell you a message, which apparently is coming directly from the CIA and the NSA, if all the reporting from WikiLeaks Vault 7 is to be believed. And hi guys, I know you're recording me right now, so how's it going, NSA?
Right.
But if all that's to be believed, they're just faces giving a story. And, judged upon the election, how skewed they were towards Hillary Clinton and how they were accepting direct input from her administration, or from her backers or whoever, they're just character actors. That's all. And, the fact that he broke down, what you saw there, I think, is how he really is. He's a big, histrionic weakling.
Right.
That's all he is. And he's out there, when something got thrown in his face, he had a hysterical reaction. He couldn't contain himself because he's a piece of crap.
Yeah, and speaking of the network, I saw another clip the other day of a lady interviewing a guy, a congressman, I believe, on the actual threat of the countries that are, part of the travel ban. And the congressman was, who was basically, he was playing nice with the host. He wasn't aggressive. It didn't seem to be in this sort of, conflicted, position in the discussion they were having. But at one point he was saying, we all accept that it's established that these countries are, propagators of terrorism. And, he started going into that and his fucking feed cut off. So, literally his camera went to the fucking bars and the lady's like, oh, I guess we lost. I was just about to tell him we were done anyway, but thank you. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
To think we're stupid.
Well, if it was the first time, it wouldn't be a problem. But it seems like every time that situation occurs, they lose the satellite feed. So I can't believe that it's it's certain random acts of electrical activity. You know what I mean?
Right. It's pretty fucking pathetic. And I just had a guy commented on my on the MC page this morning. And this is a guy, black guy I grew up with. We grew up in the same neighborhood. And I always had a tremendous amount of respect for the guy because he was a guy that, although I may not agree with a lot of his political leanings now as an adult, like I remember he was always trying to join some organization that was strong. Whether it was, the 5 percenters, those people in New York are familiar with them. Some sort of black organization. Like he was trying to
Israelites.
He was always trying to empower his identity as a black man, And whether I I didn't share obviously his struggle, but I respected his willingness to not be just another goofy fuck smoking a blunt in the corner, you know.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, he's gone like just off the deep end when it comes to, you know, the white privilege, the this, the that, all the other bullshit. So I put up a link today talking about it was Ben Shapiro criticizing the supposed replacement for Obamacare and how these things, you know, there were still a lot of bad things in it, you know, including a mandate, you know, a fine that the insurance companies were allowed to give. Or just at the beginning, probably the most relevant is insurance companies being forced to accept pre-existing conditions into, you know, plans. And, you know, that undermines what insurance is. You know, it's the easy analogy is, you know, being allowed to buy fire insurance as or after your home burned down.
During.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's understandable why somebody would criticize these things. So I put it there, and it's funny because when I put it there, I'm like, see, I'm not fucking going, like, let me at least show people that if there is something that is inconsistent, I don't care whether it's coming from the left or the right, you know, I'm going to put it out there on blast, 100%. As we should.
Yeah.
And this one guy references, well, if you know, all these people worked with the Obama administration, you know, we would have been able to put a better Obamacare in place. And, you know, and his position aside, which obviously is just fucking detached bullshit, it speaks to the commitment by people on that side of the political spectrum to just shoehorn everything into their narrative. At no point do you see on that side of the equation a willingness, a format, the ability, a mechanism by which understanding of all parties can ever be achieved. You know? Like, if you're going to say that you're right and I'm wrong, no matter what topics are brought up, then what that is an argument, or what manifests as an argument for doing away with discourse, not enabling more discourse. You know what I'm saying, Ricardo?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I mean, objectivity need not apply when it comes to someone who's a zealot, right?
Right.
I mean, I have very conservative, right-leaning positions on many things. But at the same time, I am always willing to change my mind at any point on anything if new information comes and you can show it to me, demonstrate it to me with evidence that is contrary to a belief that I already have. So, but these folks, they have no mechanism for that. That mechanism is either broken, never existed, or has been removed from their ability to think. It's a sign of poor ability to have deductive reasoning and thinking, in my opinion. They're just, it's a religious attitude. It's a mythological attitude. They have a belief system, and regardless of the evidence, that belief system is going to trump all other input. It's not a good way to live. I mean, if they apply that to the rest of their lives, that's why they're 35, broke with, no life ahead of them. I mean, it's the best way I can think about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's rough because you're seeing, like, those of us that are, I would say, that have enough of a perspective to observe these things. You know, you're seeing just the demise of the whole, I guess, push towards finding common ground as Americans. You know, people always, there's always like a fringe group, or that fringe sort of counterculture type of identity that, just went against the grain for the sake of it. It didn't matter, which way they went, so long as it was opposite what everybody else went. But now we're seeing this divide, and I'd have to say it's I attribute it a lot to, 8 years of a race-baiting administration that at every single turn tried to drive a wedge, between the American citizens, But nowadays, like I've never seen that chasm, as wide as it is now, because we're talking about all free people. There is no slavery, there is no Jim Crow, and in our present state of being, I don't think there's ever been more of a divide, between Americans based on these racial issues, political issues and such.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the time right now to rise up. This is a time when opportunities abound. The possibilities, with everything being in chaos in terms of the establishment, it's the time right now for people to really go forward and make something of themselves because the conditions are good. You're not locked up to a lot of things. Some other people would argue that, some people would say that that's well, now everything's terrible because nothing's in control. No. Now is the time to make your mark. Now is the time, because you're not going to be held back by any of the traditional things that would normally be stacked against you. They're in so much chaos, the people that want to control you, that you now have opportunities that you may not have another time for. I think it's a good time. It's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a better time, to be alive. And by the way, I think that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
We right now have the freest, most abundant society that has ever existed in history. When you factor in
Absolutely.
When you factor in the benefits of history, technology, and what we're capable of, what we know in terms of medicine and, like the infrastructure of a first world nation, what that looks like, where in history would somebody want to exist if you're talking about opportunity for the average guy, So much of our timeline has been about, being born into the right circumstances. That upward mobility is a very, very contemporary idea, in terms of, being actually plausible, for everybody, but when you look at the things that, like the outrage and these sort of moral fucking, foxholes that these liberals are digging themselves into, it's based on fucking nonsense. It's based on like the most elitist, spoiled, fucking, like shitstorms and tantrums that you've ever seen. It's never been it's never been so good for people who are born into complete abject shit than it is right now. And speaking of Americans, you're born in Africa, chances are you're fucked. It's a great comic skit.
Yeah.
That dude, Jared Carmichael. I don't know if you guys are tracking Jared Carmichael, but it's a black comedian, fucking brilliant dude. He's talking about slavery.
Yeah.
And he says, it's, he's like, I'm starting to see like the silver lining to slavery. He goes, because if it wasn't for slavery, I'd be in Africa right now. Africa.
They have AIDS in Africa.
And he goes, and not the I'm happy I'm gonna buy the Dodgers AIDS, the bad AIDS. So when you remove that sort of veil of fucking
bullshit,
you get to see that whether you want to say it out loud or not, goddamn well that you're better off because your ancestors were slaves, in America. By the way, we all had ancestors that were slaves probably at one point, but as speaking of the American history, you guys are doing all right. Ask all the black billionaires, that are out there.
That's called making lemonade. That's what that's called. It's like your ancestor got a lemon, but you're going to make some lemonade out of it.
Yeah.
And you do your ancestor a service by not complaining and by pushing forward and make something of your life.
It would be controversial to tell somebody who was onerous against the situations of their ancestors' history that, without your ancestor being enslaved and them working hard to survive, you would still be possibly in the midst of a famine, if you were even existing.
Yeah.
So, because Africa right now ain't doing so hot. So, it's you can't look back on history and say, well, if only it had been this, and if only it had been this. A lot of those folks that are very adamant about, and that's not to say that slavery is a good thing. Don't misunderstand me. Don't misconstrue me.
Right.
It's just a matter of the fact that history goes the way that history goes. You have no control over the past, but you do have complete control over your future. You have complete control over what decisions you make, and those decisions should be based on the information and advantages given to you by history. To do otherwise is just basically to be an infant, to flounder in ignorance.
Right.
And who wants to do that? My ancestors were enslaved. My personal ancestors were enslaved. Does that determine the course of my life?
Yes.
No, it's not. Absolutely. It does mean that I'm not going to let someone else make me a fucking slave.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I know that that's not a good look for people's lives. But in terms of how things turned out, things turned out okay for me. My privileges, my advantages were enhanced due to that experience. And I think that's the proper way to look at it. To look at it any other way is just to wallow in self-pity.
Right.
And why would you do that?
Right. And my commitment to mocking the weak is very much a disarming of that, that reaction that so many people today have, trying to accommodate, this fucking guilt-ridden bullshit that is fed by the left, to us, that, somehow I'm supposed to undermine my own pursuit of happiness and my destiny because of the obstacles that not these individuals face, but that their ancestors faced. Like, it makes zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
You ever see that meme with the guy from The Hangover? Like, but did you die? It's like, but did you die?
Did you die?
One of my favorites.
That's a good one.
It's like, this cop pulled me over.
Obviously, your ancestor didn't die.
Right, the whole fit the description thing. We talk about Paul, right? One of my guys.
Yeah, Paul.
Paul Grant, pro MMA fighter.
Tan guy.
Black. And, he gets pulled over or stopped. He's walking not too far from the school. He gets stopped by a couple of undercover cops. This happened probably last year at some point.
Yep, we've mentioned it before.
And I've mentioned it before. And, they ask him to unlock his phone. They said, let us see your phone, unlock it, basically to prove that, it's his. And, he said that they said he fit the description. It's like, by the way, most crime is done by the blacks here. So chances are, if you're black, there's a good chance you're going to fit the description at some point in your life in these neighborhoods. But one of the things that nobody really realizes is with Paul, his mother's a cop. So he could very easily, and this is New York, he could very easily identify himself as a son of a cop, and they probably would have been enough to be like, oh, okay, like this guy isn't some dirtbag that just crawled out from under a rock, But what did he do? He just he showed them the phone, and like it was the end of it. Now, if I was him, would I have just unlocked the phone and showed them? Maybe, maybe I would have been like, well, fuck you. I don't have to show you my phone, But then I would have been spending a couple of days, fucking until they figured shit out, So my whole point, being is not that he should have complied. It's that he didn't fucking complain about it. There was no fucking trauma that was experienced because of this thing. It became an anecdote that we laughed about, and then we moved on. Like, there was none of this looking to injure yourself on the path that you're traveling, And that's what you see today. You see people that are like walking down this path, and they're trying to cut their foot on every rock that's in front of them, just so they can complain about it,
Yeah. That comedian, he said, I'd rather fit the description in
It's
America.
like that meme with the bicycle. It's like that meme with the black guy riding the bicycle, and he sees a white guy on the side of the road, and he puts a stick in the tire of his own bike and hit the ground and says, "Fucking white people."
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's just weak, and the reason I say we mock the weak is I would say twofold. Number one, it's a precursor to what eventually leads to violence. By mocking them, we're allowing ourselves a recourse that is nonviolent.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, though, it starts to influence the alliances and the environment of this shared identity by sort of rounding people into an agreed upon culture, whereby we could all exist and our morality dictates what also happens to be most productive for us, So, with a lot of the material...
Absolutely. No,
go ahead.
and that's what I think they don't... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, a lot of the material that I've put out on Tribe, I don't get bogged down by... And I would say that if there's a certain point, I think, where guys are tracking this, an alliance occurs at every level of one's network. So when we talk about Tribe, I make a point to say, a tribe is just any group of individual identities that are acting in unison toward a mission. And that, like those circles of what we would call tribe, occur at every level. Now, functionally, and this is more of a semantical observation, tribe is usually, directed toward or used for those groups of individuals that allow you to, that support you day to day in, I guess, the basic needs of survival. The thing is that in a society like today, it's not that simple. We have, if we were all living in the woods and we were literally a tribe of individuals that was isolated from the rest of the world, well, tribe, for all intents and purposes, would be that one group of individuals. But even then, there would be a difference between the people who are in your home, the people who are in your immediate area, the people who are then eventually scaling it up to include everybody inside the walls, the walls of the group or the identity. But nowadays, when we talk about tribe, I try not to use it in a way that describes what is not that group of individuals. So if I'm with a bunch of people, let's say on an airplane, well, for in all intents and purposes, I could use the word tribe to describe what we're all doing on that plane and how we're going to function given certain, events or obstacles. But I prefer to say alliance, right? And when you look at these connections of individuals by way of a series of alliances, we see that everybody, has a necessity to connect with people around them. And this is what, a lot of people, especially people who like the tribe word, that like the tribe concept, people that, want to sort of monopolize what is thought of when we say tribe, a lot of them, I would say have a very biased view of what tribe is. I think of it in terms of math. It's math. Why do I think that we have a tribal connection, let's say, to fucking terrorist ridden countries in the Middle East? Like, how are we a tribe with those people? Well, I would say we'd have to look at the alliance that we have, and even if that alliance can be reduced to we don't kill you, you don't kill us, if that is a thing, if we agree on that, well, that's an alliance, and that circle of that alliance, represents an identity based on that agreement, based on that social contract. And when we look at the different contracts we make with different people, it's easy to understand that making alliances is how we continue to pursue a synergy. There's a certain point where, the sort of, and it's the, I would say the criticism of an isolationist model of being. There's a certain point where if we cut off, we say, well, we're going to make friends with these people, but at this point, fuck everybody. If we have that black and white sort of in a vacuum stance, then we're committing to severing our pursuit of betterment, severing our pursuit of information, of knowledge. Now, that can't be confused with somebody not acknowledging, ignoring their own tribe at other circles of existence, at other circles of function. Just because I want to get along with my neighbor doesn't mean that I do not prefer and are committed to my children in my home, But to say, I'm completely loyal to my wife and my children in my home, so fuck all my neighbors, like that is an oversimplification of what I'm saying occurs, I feel, at larger levels when people are talking about tribe. Because in their minds, they can't make the distinction between an alliance and a functional synergy of existence. They think,
100%.
In order to have an agreement with these people, and where you see this done well is in gangs. When you talk about gangs and mafia families, right? And the whole illegal subculture of different crime families, and it's like, listen, we'll agree to work together in some instances. We follow a code, and the code, what is the code if not an alliance, a social contract, an agreement to operate under a certain set of rules?
Yeah.
Because it's certainly not the natural law, right? Because we're gonna be at each other's throats. But to evolve beyond that, to create some sort of synergy, we create this contract of culture, of morality even, There's certain things like one of the things, if you're in a mob family, you don't talk to the cops. You like, a rat is a rat. But I also talk about how Lucky Luciano was arrested at one point, and he ratted on a whole bunch of, I think it was Dutch Schultz's crew, and he wasn't held accountable for breaking any code because the people he ratted on weren't Italian.
Yeah.
So that, the fact that these guys weren't Italian, it fell under a different classification of rules. But all of his antagonists, all the people that he was, all of his competitors, I guess you could say, gave him a pass for that. Like, they all understood. Oh yeah, he ratted, but he ratted on, guys who weren't Italian. So it's a different, type of reaction that they have.
Yeah.
So it's all about social contract. It's all about creating alliances. But people, they have to become emotionally attached to that for some reason. And that's, I think, where people, run awry of what is actually functional. Because I choose, like, there are people every day, and I shit you not, there are people every day that I would like to punch in the fucking face. Every single day. I don't want to kill them. I don't want them to suffer. I don't want to remove their ability to pursue their own, success and independence and whatever. But there are certain times where I would love to give somebody a consequence for an action that I think would make their ability to act in this tribe, in this society, more functional. There are certain things I think you should get punched in the fucking face for. And I will say there was a time where you did get punched in the face for doing certain things. I remember getting fucking pulled over by the cops, not pulled over, but stopped by the cops as a teenager once, and bad-mouthing them, and I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the fucking precinct with my parents looking to create a lawsuit. I was being an asshole.
Yeah.
I was being an asshole, and I got a reaction. But it's an understood intent that people who functionally navigate these contracts successfully, that they all understand. It's, why is it that we can't let these incompatible people into our country? Because they will not assimilate. If they will not assimilate, then they will not abide by these social contracts that all of us operate by. It's like, you don't go around not raping people because rape is illegal. Like, no, if rape was made legal tomorrow, I wouldn't go start raping people. I'm not being held back, by the laws, with those
Being
things.
restrained.
Right, and it's I don't need to push up against the walls, what I'm saying, of what's legal in this country. But incompatible cultures do. And when we don't hold them to those sort of social contracts, then what winds up happening is we have to create the consequence, of their actions. And it's to the point now where we're allowing these people who have an incompatible mission to, I don't know how we got into immigration with this, but it's all connected. You're letting these people come into our country now who are basically allowing themselves to become stronger under the umbrella of an identity that they do not aspire to become a part of.
They want to destroy.
You are letting strangers into your home. Eventually it's like, holy shit, I have to fight all these people I just let in to keep my home. And I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
That's racist. Stop being racist.
The difference is if I went to a country where rape was legal, I still wouldn't rape people.
Right.
That's correct.
That's the thing. Is I wouldn't rape women if I went to a country where rape wasn't punished because I don't rape women.
Mm-hmm.
However, what you got is you got people coming from a country where rape is legal or illegal here, and they come here and rape women. That's the difference between us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, to me, again, and I feel a need to summarize the fucking tirade I just went on. We don't need to make a value judgment when we're talking about what's functional and what is dysfunctional. There are certain things that work. There are certain things that don't work. If we cannot agree at just a core, sort of position, philosophically, that we want to do more of what works, given the dichotomy of something that works, something that doesn't work, choosing something that works, if we cannot agree to that, then you've removed alliance as an option. And if you remove alliance as an option, then there are only a set number of ways that I am able to deal with you. And it's going to be either exile, right? You stay there, I stay here. We don't, our paths don't cross.
Yep.
Or as soon as we get into any sort of scenario whereby we're vying for the same resources, it scales right up to violence. Like in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like you tell anybody, I'll tell anybody who thinks that shit won't get violent quickly, do you have kids? Yeah. Okay, well, would you kill your neighbors to feed your family? Well, no. Okay, because we feed our families, we don't kill our neighbors as it is now. But now let's create a scenario whereby either your kids eat or their kids eat.
Now what?
Now what? Because even if you're going to take this morally, detached position, because I think morals are based in function, if you're going to take this detached position of, well, I'm going to let my whole family die because I'd rather that happen than kill these, then so be it. Because that's exactly how it'll be.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it'll be. When you look at the samurai culture, I think, one of the great things about the samurai culture is they almost didn't reduce their honor to non-samurai triviality. Like to them, dying with honor was the most important thing. But the currency by which they were valuing and weighing that honor was a purely in-tribe concept. So if you take a samurai and you remove him from the lineage of his name and his family in the context of feudal Japan, and you take him and you put him in the Wild West, he is not going to be bound by the same constraints morally that he is if he's plugged into that sort of necessity to maintain his family's honor. If he's removed from that, he is not serving anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Samurai, to serve. Their whole thing is they're above pettiness, of of these ambitions that politicians are bound by. To them, it's my whole job. Being successful is serving up to and including sacrificing my own life.
Yeah.
And that is where their success is measured. So when we look at these different people from different places, how do you measure success? And you have to recognize those people who measure success in a way that is completely incongruent with the premise of an alliance between the two of you. If you're like, if me and you, right? Let's say we're strangers, and we buy plots of land right next to each other.
Yes.
And let's say there's a stream that runs right as the natural border between our plots of land. You and I have a mutual interest in maintaining the integrity of this stream. I'm not going to do anything to fuck the stream up. You're not going to do anything to fuck the stream up. And sure, it's, for number one, just the maintenance of the stream itself. But beyond that, one of the factors that's going to be in both of our minds is not creating a conflict with the other.
Yeah.
Right? So there's going to be a component of that. And it's not about who can win a fight. It's a matter of how do we conduct ourselves so we don't have to fight. Right?
Yeah.
And as as we would navigate that relationship, we would always maintain the value of maintaining that stream, right? For those reasons that I mentioned. Well, let's say somebody comes in and somebody wants my plot of land, right? Let's say it's not you. Let's say it's a guy who moves in. Think of a name. Muhammad. Okay, his name's Muhammad.
Muhammad.
And we'll call him Mo. So Mo moves in, right? I actually know a Muslim named Mo. Cool guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, but this is a different Mo. This Mo's an asshole.
Okay.
Right?
Asshole Mo.
Asshole Mo moves in.
Yeah.
And Mo wants my land.
Okay.
So I'm in the same situation, right? Let's say you and your family moved. Mo moves in. Me, we got the stream here. Listen,
It's just been going good.
It's just been going good. Pat and I, we had this whole thing. This is the way it worked. And, you cool with that? Oh, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. He'll tell me anything I want to hear.
Because he's Muslim.
Because I think, that he and I share the mission of wanting to maintain this relationship, of wanting to maintain the integrity of this stream.
Beautiful stream.
Right? It's beautiful fucking stream.
Tremendous.
Incredible. Fucking the crayfish, they smile.
Yeah.
So
Happy.
I'm thinking he's operating under one mission. Unbeknownst to me, though, Mo is from a different people, from a different land with a different code.
Yeah.
And he has a different mission.
Does.
And that mission is based on domination. Let's just say this is all hypothetical.
Yeah,
It's all hypothetical.
None of this is real.
None of this is real, right? There is nobody named Mo that is looking to dominate Western society at all. Maybe there is. I don't know. It's hypothetical.
Yeah.
So, if I don't have a formula that does not operate under pure assumption, I'm never going to be able to track as soon as this alliance becomes dysfunctional.
Yeah, as soon as the shift happens.
Right? If I'm going to say, oh, well, everybody is going to do the right thing. Why? Because Pat, the first guy that I had this stream with, he did the right thing. So everybody must do the right thing. It becomes a dysfunctional way to be for me.
100%. Yeah.
Now, Mo could sabotage the stream, could balk on any agreement that he and I had. Eventually, let's say, take over my land.
Yep.
He's never been incongruent in his mission.
No.
He's never been dysfunctional in his protocols and his formulas. He's succeeded in what he set out to do. Yep. But because I was blinded by having to sort of constantly assess, and hold people accountable for incongruencies, I suffer. And eventually, it's the sort of the construction of my own demise.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what you see with people these days. They're emotionally attached to getting along with somebody.
By all means necessary.
It's like, no. The way that I get along with people is I make sure all the important shit is taken care of first. It's like a business deal. We agree in the beginning under the right terms. And, handshakes work in tribe, by the way.
They do.
And they work in tribe because there's a tribal consequence for breaking that agreement. But if you're not talking about somebody who's in your tribe, handshakes don't work. Formal commitments work, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know, and I speak of a handshake as a representative of an informal commitment. You know, but these formal commitments are necessities because there needs to be a consequence that's dictated or set out and described between us.
Yes.
Right? If you're tribe A and I'm tribe B and we don't, you know, we just happen to come upon one another, you know, and we make an agreement, this is what's going to happen, right? Right. If it doesn't happen, this is what's going to happen. You know, we need to understand what the consequences of our actions are going to be. Right? It comes to that commitment because it's not about you better do it or else. It's about, listen, let's agree that what we're agreeing to is the best of all these options.
Yeah.
And let's understand that if we don't do this, then we're going to have to do this option. Everyone loses here. Right?
Yep.
So I was talking to Two on Tom. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to Two on Tom, and he brought up a great point about the bear in the woods dominating another bear. When you have one bear, and this is seen throughout, you know, nature, you know, in the animal kingdom, when you see a bear dominating another bear, it doesn't dominate it to the point where it kills it.
Yeah.
It breaks it to where it stops trying to be dominant. But once it decides, once that hierarchy is established, once the, you know, who the alpha is established, the violence ends. Because the dominant bear, the alpha, the winner of that conflict, doesn't want a chance dying.
Yeah, or get injured.
Well, that's the whole point, you know, because injury leads to death, right?
Wild,
so it's not about, you know, just killing for the sake of killing.
Yeah.
When you see it in its most functional form, without emotion, which you'll observe in the animal kingdom, you'll see it's just once you establish that hierarchy, you back off. There's no need to pursue that conflict anymore.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Makes sense.
Ricardo, you still there?
Yeah, brother. When you get on a thought, I know better than to interrupt. You had a good thought going there. I want to let it get to its logical conclusion.
I appreciate it because you know me, I go on these things.
Yeah.
So what you got to say about all that?
No, but I mean, you had a good line going there. I wanted you to get it out. In terms of just to touch on what you spoke about between tribe and alliance, I think it's something that a lot of people misunderstand. To me, it occurred while you were speaking about it. Tribes are like cells, like living cells, with semi-permeable barriers, right? So the barrier can get stronger or weaker depending upon the activity within the cell. And that the alliance is kind of a fluid which transfers between tribes. So, and that's why it's kind of less solid than the tribe itself. If enough of that fluid from one tribe flows into another tribe, it changes the nature of the tribe on one side, or the tribes combined into a new cell. But it's a very fluid thing. Alliances are fluid, whereas tribes are more solid because they're based on longer-term relationships. Family, like you were saying about gangs, family, shared opportunity, which has extended over a long time. But I think you're definitely 100% on the mark, brother. I mean, you know, that's why I can't wait for PressureCon 2, because this is the kind of shit. If anybody out there wants to know what PressureCon 2 is like, what you just saw is just a taste. This is how that stuff goes at PressureCon.
Perfect segue into the PressureCon announcement. So,
yeah,
PressureCon,
brother, I'm always selling.
You are fucking
ABC.
on task.
ABC.
So the second PressureCon 2. I was thinking you should. What's a good title for it?
PressureCon 2.
PressureCon Returns. The Return to PressureCon.
Because it's going to return again.
PressureCon's Revenge.
The Heretic.
Enter the PressureCon.
PressureCon 2, the Heretic.
The Heretic. Well, our second PressureCon is July 21st and 22nd, which means it's going to be 2 days. We're going to have content on both days, and it's going to be a Saturday and a Sunday.
That's a Friday and a Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, 22nd, 23rd then?
So we should change it.
Well, what is it? Are you sure?
Yeah, 21st, 22nd is a Friday, Saturday.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Don't make shit up.
I'm sure. I'm going to double check, but I'm sure.
What did I tell you, Ricardo?
Yeah, 21st, 22nd is a Friday, Saturday.
21st, 22nd. I think it was Friday, Saturday. I'm pretty sure, but
It is.
like I said, without looking at my calendar, I'm not going to speak to that 100%.
Right. So the way it's going to work
I
is,
think Pat's right on this one.
so whatever the dates are, the way that it's working out is,
Yeah.
we're going to have a Friday night sort of meet and greet, and not going to be official content, but we're going to be hanging out Friday. Saturday we'll have content the entire day. Sunday in the AM we will have some content, and around Sunday at noon is when we'll conclude. So there's going to be a lot of information. I'm still accumulating speakers and trying to get as much power into the experience as possible. But it's going to be, I aim to obviously make it even better than the last one, and that'll be, what drives me moving forward.
Even more better.
Even more better.
PressureCon 2, even more better.
Right.
That's the official tagline.
Did Tour on Tom Kyer agree to his tent of power?
Like the whole thing's a 10 of power.
Yeah, we're definitely going to
It is.
make sure Tuan Tom's there. But I have some other things, and until I get things committed on, I don't want to mention them. But I'm trying to make this a little bit more eclectic than the first PressureCon. But down to the nuts and bolts, it's $397. It's $397.
Yeah.
$397 for new attendees. You have to be a member of the site of the the Pressure Project members site, in order to register for PressureCon. Room and board. There are going to be local hotels. There are going to be Airbnb homes that people can rent. There's a couple of houses that are available, first come, first serve, which are being offered to last year's attendees first. So if we go through that list of people and there are still spaces open, I will then, extend that to the rest of the attendees. But there are going to be comparable Airbnb homes and also, some local, probably 20-minute away motels, in the area. So as soon as you register, you should contact me, and I've done this for a few people already. Contact me, and let's get your room and board squared away. I am not making any money on room and board, so I'm just trying to help facilitate, your attendance. But you want to, where can they find a link for that, Pat?
It's on the member site and on the PressureCon tab.
All right.
And also, we're going to send out an email with links to everything.
So make sure, you're a member of the site. Once you're a member of the site, there's a PressureCon tab. You can go check that out. If you're already a member, you'll be getting an email. And we'll be doing that, obviously a bunch of times leading up to the event itself. I'm cutting the attendee list off at 50. If we do not have 50 members who want to attend, then whatever we have, we have. I'm not going to make it generically to the public. And it might seem like not much of a leap. Like, what's the difference? I just joined the site. You don't know who I am anyway. Well, I do. I have your information. I could pursue, I'm going to be doing my research, not to get all creepy on anybody, but, we have a lot of special conversations at PressureCon, as Ricardo can attest. And it is important.
Yes,
yeah.
It's important that, everybody, I'm not just worried about, there being some sort of spy there and I don't want him there. I want everybody to also have the assurance that I've done my due diligence and vetted everybody that's there, so that everybody could just worry about having a good time, speaking their mind, and enjoying the experience, rather than going, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? So I guarantee
I will be there, brother. Yeah. So
absolutely.
I will be there. So, if there's anything you need from me, just let me know. But you already know what I'm looking at, so I'll be there one way or the other.
No, absolutely. I appreciate it.
Previous attendees, they still get the...
Yeah, previous attendees have their same rate, but new attendees, $397, which, you got to understand, I would have absolutely no objections to charging, $2,000 for this weekend. No objections.
Easily.
I've hosted events in the past before. I've attended events in the past where I've spent, many times more than this.
A lot.
And
Far less.
I remember one event I attended. It was a business event. It was in Vegas, and the whole trip wound up costing me about $6,000, and I was gone for maybe 4 days. $6,000, 4 days, and I would have done it again in a heartbeat because of the power that I got out of that event. So the idea of investing in it, and I'm going to start sounding like a salesman here, which is sort of some of the things that I learned on that Vegas trip.
True.
But
paying itself back.
I think when you're talking about good sales, you're really trying to, as Zig Ziglar would say, transfer energy. From one person who knows about the benefits to somebody who may not know. Paying $397 for what I have in store for you for PressureCon is, I'm helping a lot more than I'm charging. I'll tell you that much.
Friday night from the first PressureCon was worth the fucking thing. Like, we hung out Friday night,
oh man,
around
it was
the fire.
fucking incredible.
That was not even scheduled. We're just hanging out, shooting the shit. That paid for the whole thing. Anyone who they made their money right then. That shit was amazing.
And I gotta say, there is a difference between the conversations we have, publicly, and the conversations we have in a more private, intimate setting. We're able to explore different ideas a lot more aggressively. Everybody was on point. It was just a completely squared away group of guys that were there, last year. We had the attendees. We had a lot of people that I invited.
Good speakers.
To speak, and also people who are participating behind the scenes. But it's going to be another incredible time. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. All right.
We'll send out emails so that the people who haven't registered yet will have all the info, breakdown, where to go. You have to be a member, and then also the link will be sent out privately to the previous attendees to do their legacy registration. Mm-hmm. So it'll be separate. You guys will get a separate link sent to you. Only you'll see it. Only you can get it. So that you guys get hooked up.
All right, Ricardo, I'm going to let you go, brother. I feel like you were our co-host so far today, and I appreciate you hanging out. 3 is a powerful number.
Always a pleasure, brother. I'm just one of the I'm one of the characters at this point. So.
100%. Our rogues gallery.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Interesting.
All right, brothers. Later.
Awesome, brother.
So, those links will go out, and we've had a couple of people, because we did sort of a soft mention of it before.
People already paid.
And we had a bunch of people pay already, which is good, by the way. Welcome. But I really, really want anybody who's thinking about it, that has any questions, to contact me. Contact Pat.
Yeah.
I'm here to answer your questions.
Which happened already. I've had it.
Right.
I hook people up already.
So,
I respond pretty fast.
Yeah, if you have any questions, but just about the event in a more general sense. If there's a technical question, I'm going to send you to Pat.
Yeah.
But if it's really you just want to ask a question about the event because you're not sure about it or anything, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to break it down for you. But people attended last year, and it's funny because those of you that have access to the PressureCon material on the site, on the membership site, that is just like the formal, material and content that was presented. That doesn't even represent all of the side powwows that were going on.
Which the power tent was the joke, because in between, anytime we were just hanging out or there was just some downtime, or which there wasn't a lot of, MC a lot of times had to be like, all right, guys, stop.
Right.
We got to go. We got to do what we're supposed to do, or else we would have just been talking for 12 hours straight.
Right.
The power tent,
It's what goes on. And, the people who attended, one of the other things that we really haven't, focused on at all, a benefit, is connections were made.
Yeah.
Networks were established last year that I see from a distance have actually evolved and become more, as time goes on. So the networking aspect of these events is also incredible. And we had guys that attended last year that have martial arts schools, and I see that the stuff that we've gone over has made its way into how they do their, their thing, how they present their material, which I love seeing. I see people who have actually had some business dealings that networked with each other. We had Augustus there last year.
Yeah, awesome.
So, he was a guy who was running for state senator in Florida, who made his way up and not only gave a great talk, but also, was available and participatory in so many other, conversations and throughout the weekend. It was just an incredible experience. But we're going to take a break. You have that video?
Yeah.
How long is that video?
2 minutes, or 1 minute and 12 seconds long.
So you're going to do that video, and there's another video.
The Logan timeline explained. It just happens to be on the same.
Does it?
Yeah.
There was another video that I wanted to show. Now we'll just do that one.
This one's ready.
So put that up, and when we get back, I want to answer some of the questions I see.
There's a good one
being passed around. All right, so
here we go.
Stand by.
Hold on. 1 second. Fucking audio is not set up. One second. Screw it. The audio is glitched. I'll fix it.
Fix it.
I'm fixing it now. Fixing it now.
Tell everybody what's in the membership site.
I'll fix it.
Explain the different categories of members.
There were other immigrants.
I got it working already. I'll do it after.
Slave ships worked even longer, even harder for less. But they too had a dream that one day their sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, great-grandsons, great-granddaughters might pursue prosperity and happiness in this land.
Life in America was not always easy. It wasn't always easy for new immigrants. Certainly it wasn't easy for those of African heritage who had not come here voluntarily, and yet in their own way were immigrants themselves. There was discrimination and hardship and poverty. But like you, they no doubt found inspiration in all those who had come before them. And they were able to muster faith that here in America, they might build a better life.
Excuse me, missed the beginning.
A land of dreams and opportunity. There were other immigrants who came here in the bottom of slave ships, worked even longer, even harder for less. But they too had a dream that one day their sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, great-grandsons, great-granddaughters might pursue prosperity and happiness in this land.
Life in America was not always easy. It wasn't always easy for new immigrants. Certainly it wasn't easy for those of African heritage who had not come here voluntarily, and yet in their own way were immigrants themselves. There was discrimination and hardship and poverty. But like you, they no doubt found inspiration in all those who had come before them. And they were able to muster faith that here in America, they might build a better life.
And that was that. So, membership site. I played it twice because the beginning got clipped. So, membership site. Okay, this is the way that Pressure Project Members works. Around 300 episodes of archived content. We have members-only episodes, part 2 episodes. We have our video vault, which has a bunch of special programs such as the Loyalty Matrix, the Warrior Continuum, Strong Dad, Strong Son, Pressure Con, and now Function First is in the process. Members forum, and tons of content on the site. The membership is $9.99 a month. It's $60. It's $50 for 6 months, $90 for a year. and then it's $150 for 2 years. Now, going back, breaking this down, we have our legacy members. The legacy members are the current members that are already members active. They have access to everything. That's called, they're called our legacy members. We have our tribal members. Okay, what? We starting over? Jesus Christ. I was going over tribal members and then our power members.
So,
yeah,
all that material is there.
That's true.
The legacy members are people who are active members prior to March 1st. Not just active members. People who are active members prior to March 1st.
That is correct.
So the people who had joined and are continuing their membership prior to the beginning of this month, you guys will continue to have access to everything just like you always have. For new members, from the beginning of this month and moving forward, there are two categories of members. There are tribe members and power members. Tribe members is every membership that is less than 2 years. Power members are members who have purchased a 2-year membership. When you purchase the 2-year membership, as a bonus, you'll have access to the programs, the special programs that we make available, like the Loyalty Matrix, Warrior Continuum, etc. People who are tribe members, members who are tribe members, will also have access to these programs, but as an add-on. And it's going to be $10 a program, right? That's what I settled on, $10 a program. And you'll have access for the duration of your membership for the $10. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And any programs that are brand new, they're coming out in stages, you will not have access to them. The 2-year members will until they complete. And then, so you have to wait.
Right, so
get a 2-year membership. That's the best
basically
deal.
I mean if you're talking about what am I incentivizing here, I'm incentivizing 2-year memberships, so I don't have to worry about all the the logistics of reminding people about renewals, doing monthly charges, I'd rather just you buy a 2-year membership, save a shit ton of money, by the way. So if it's $10 a month, 24 months, $240, right? Yep. $240
for a year.
We're only charging. What are you talking about for a year?
What'd you say? Oh, no, I get it. $240 for 2 years. It's $150 for 2 years. So we're saving $90, not including $50 if you count all the programs.
Don't start trying to compensate now for not being able to fucking multiply 24 times 10.
I thought you said a year. I thought you went by going by year times 2. It's all right. You save $90 plus $50, so $140.
Don't buy a car from this guy.
You save $150. It's pretty good.
He's like, look, it's magic.
Listen, I learned by you.
Fuck, you're so full of shit. Oh,
I learned by watching you. Yeah, you save a bunch of money. And
you save a lot of money. Yeah. And you also get access to all these different programs.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Oh, my God. You know what I started watching yesterday?
What?
I'm getting you off this.
I was going to say, and we take care of our old original members. That's important to note.
Right, absolutely.
Taking care of everybody. All the people that support us from the beginning, you guys are taken care of.
We got you, yo.
And if you have ever had an issue with your membership, contact me. I will hook you up because that's what I do. I fix shit. Okay, so now what's next?
I was going to say, you know what show I started watching?
In Living Color.
No. I almost thought you were going to say it. Into the Badlands.
Into the Bad, yeah. I watched
it. You told me about that, right?
Did.
Fucking awesome show.
The ending was crazy.
I'm only on like episode 4.
Well, the ending has a pretty fucking good payoff.
How many seasons are there?
Just one. The second season's coming out now, like next week or some shit like that.
Really?
Yeah.
How many episodes in the season?
I don't know. They're doing a binge thing. I saw that came out. It's on. It's going to start after Walking Dead. I think it's usually on after Walking Dead.
Holy shit, man!
Solid show.
Like awesome.
It's fucking good.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I want to be a baron.
I want to be a baron.
I want to be a baron.
Aside from all the betrayal and all that shit.
Right. I mean, I'll obviously square all that shit away.
Listen, and by the way, Mo's not taking your fucking stream. I just wanted to put that out there.
Mo's not taking my
He's
stream.
not taking your fucking stream.
No.
You're not even in the hypothetical.
But what's your name? Mo? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
My little note. Take care of Mo.
Bring him some bacon.
All right, so there's some questions here.
Yeah, you want this one's a good one.
Yeah, break it down. Come on, what's going on?
If you're in a relationship and plan to marry a woman, yet a member of your tribe, a close brother, doesn't like her and refuses to drop his beef. How do you handle it without losing the brother if possible?
Well, that brother's got to square his shit, because who you marry is none of his fucking business. Now, if your girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, was creating some sort of conflict that your brother had to constantly deal with, well, that's your fuck up, you know, because if she is connected to you in this tribe, then you are the proxy by which she interacts with this tribe, and you have an obligation and responsibility to make sure she's conducting herself in a congruent fashion. Now, if she's unwilling to do that, then you're going to have to make a decision of either getting rid of her or leaving the relationship that you have with your tribe. Which, by the way, and again, I don't want to get so fucking too abstract, but
yeah,
if we have a functional group of people, it represents an identity that is based in a high level of function, meaning it is very relevant to your individual identity. And this is your members of your church, members of your gang, members of your home, members of your community, your gated community, like members of your martial arts school, let's just say. But when I say leave that tribe, it doesn't necessarily mean sever the connection to this tribe, but relegate your relationship with this tribe to a different circle of identity, or a different circle of alliance, we could say. So if she's not willing to act, because I'm not even saying that you could make her act, like that's fucking retarded. If she decides, to let you make her, then that's the individual's decision. But if she refuses to act congruently to what her role is, her relationship with you and the tribe, then either you need to get rid of her, or you need to change the circle of alliance with that tribe. In other words, you are going to, for all intents and purposes, not be a part of that tribe in the capacity that you're used to anymore. And we see this all the time with guys get married, you never see them again. You're not willing to say they're not your friends anymore, but it's like, fuck man, we used to hang out all the time. We're going out, we're going to do our weekly thing, the guys, yeah, I gotta, my wife, I gotta take her to, it's like, all right, after a while, it's like, fuck him, fucking all that shit.
We have to watch Sunday HBO programming.
Right.
It's wonderful.
It's what me and my wife do. So that's that. So if she's unwilling to make those changes, then that's on you. Obviously, you want to have a mindset that if your significant other, and I'll use my wife as an example, if my wife had a relationship with my tribe that was incongruent, I'm going to move in a way that allows her to rectify that. I'm going to try and get her congruent. And it might be through conversations, it might be through consequence, it might be, negotiation, it might be a bunch of things. Like, listen, these guys are important to me. When they come over, just fucking act like you like them, please. Like, it might be that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if she's acting properly, and this gets to the actual situation that he had mentioned, if she's acting properly in terms of she's acting congruently, and he just has a thing with her that is completely fueled by him, then fuck him. Then he needs to get checked. And not only should you check him, but the tribe at large should have either a reaction to checking him or a code of morality that speaks to why what he's doing is incongruent. So if you have like a crew, like one of the things in let's say the jungle gym, my martial arts school, my tribe of guys in my school, we don't drink, we don't get high, right? So drunk and high, it's not something that we do. If somebody were to go out, and get drunk, he would feel shame. And it wouldn't because we would shame him, but it would be because he would know how the group looks at that behavior. So maybe that stops him from doing it. Maybe that motivates him to sort of hide that, but none of us have directly shamed him in order for him to feel that, So there might be something in tribe that curtails somebody's, like his brother's, willingness to create a conflict with that woman, But basically, if she's doing the right thing, he needs to be told, well, it's my wife, not yours, so who the fuck cares what your opinion of her is?
Yeah, 100%.
You shouldn't have a fucking opinion of her as far as I'm concerned, But like I said, you got to make sure you're looking at it from both angles. Because if she's, being incongruent, then that's on you. That's on you to rectify that.
Yeah, 100%. Good.
What else? Any other questions? There were a whole bunch of comments that I wanted to comment on. And
we talked about steaks before.
Steaks. I like my steak
Rare as fuck.
rare as fuck.
Cold red.
I like searing the steak just to bring out the flavors of whatever seasoning I happen to be using, which usually is salt and pepper. You know, every once in a while, a little garlic. I like adding some butter.
Butter. Butter's good.
Butter's good.
Yeah, I like a rare steak. Cold red. Some people, you ask them when you go to a steak place, like, how do you do your rare? They say, oh, it's warm. It's like, well, can you make it out? Yeah, cold red, please. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but it's funny when you talk about tribes that they don't make a distinction between men and women. This is, I think, where the potential for conflict, exists. If you have, like, let's say martial arts schools.
Yeah.
Right?
Martial arts.
There are a lot of slippery slopes when you have men and women in martial arts schools. In that the level of tribalism, right? The level of functional alliance amongst a martial arts school's individuals is limited in some sense to how well everybody can get along. Well, if you have men and women, and again, it's not a value judgment, just an assessment based on observation. If you have men and women, well, now you have two categories of people who are represented. So, by introducing that second category of people, you now say, well, this entire tribe can never exist completely congruent to just one of them. Can't be a boys' club if there are girls there.
Yeah.
Because there are girls there.
Yeah. By
So
definition.
it could be a boys' club with girls that tolerate a boys' club, but it's not just a boys' club. The women are not men, and therefore they are always going to have to be accommodated in some way, just because they are different. Now, if you have married women, right? Married women with their husbands who are both training here. Well, the one thing that you don't have to worry about is, who's trying to date that girl. If that girl's, because she's married.
Yeah.
Husband's here.
If that happens, that's a whole different thing.
Right. But by and large, right? Everything on the up and up.
Yep.
Right? Let's not think the worst.
Yes.
Right. So, the married couple, they get separated or divorced. Now what happens? Who leaves?
Custody battle.
Who stays?
It's custody
Right?
battle, yeah.
So who leaves? Who stays? Now, by the way, people getting separated and divorced happens all the fucking time, right?
All the time. Families rise and fall in America all the time.
Well, so the obstacle becomes now, how does, and just the martial arts school example, how does the school handle, a sort of recruitment almost by each of those individuals to establish a loyalty towards them over the other. Husband wants to stay, wife wants to stay. It's a problem, an obstacle. So that's a scenario. Another scenario is you have the girl who's not married. Starts dating one guy.
Yeah.
Starts dating another guy.
At the same time, or
not at the same time.
like next?
I put and then.
And then
starts dating
then.
another guy. Then. So I starts dating another guy.
Yeah.
Now, this presents another curious set of obstacles for
It's
the tribe.
interesting,
How do those individuals take it? You know, those two men start to,
Vie.
create, that conflict, vying for, the acceptance of the young lady. Something that the tribe should have protocols for.
Yeah.
Or morality. There should be a rule, right? An understanding of how we act under certain circumstances. There are a lot of different ways that this plays out. Now, I would say the least conflicted design is either all women or all men. All women, all men, and all heterosexual.
Yeah.
So you eliminate all sexual tension. If it's all women, then they each have husbands, but the husband's relationship with the tribe is just by proxy of their wife.
Yep.
And if it's all men, you have wives and girlfriends whose relationship with the tribe
By proxy.
by proxy through the husband or
Yep.
boyfriend. And so what winds up happening is these people are interchangeable. We've had plenty of people here who they were married to a girl when they joined. They're married to someone else now. They had a girlfriend when they joined. They're 3-4 girlfriends in at this point, you know. And that's just very, very typical.
Yeah.
We don't skip a beat because those significant others weren't full members of this tribe.
Yeah.
Becomes a problem when they are. An obstacle.
An obstacle.
So
There's ways.
there's certainly ways
Yeah.
that my thing is though just illustrating it so that people understand these are the things that you're setting yourself up for.
Yeah, of course.
I am not a good friend with any of my male friends, girlfriends, or wives.
Yeah.
Like they all need to understand. I'm not rude to them. I'm
No.
very nice. Like I get along
guys-
with Paula. I get
Yeah.
along.
You guys aren't going to the fucking do your nails.
Right, but the whole thing is, I think all of them need to understand that, like, I'm a friend to the man, and if I'm a friend to the man, and this is certainly not a topic of conversation, right? Because it's not a very enjoyable one. But I think if any one of them were to ask me, I would tell them, listen, as soon as he gets rid of you, I'll be friends with the new one. Like, that's my role. Don't look to recruit me to be friends with you if the proxy by which I met you is removed.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like, as soon as you're not there, like, later. And if you don't want to be friendly with me because of that, then I don't care. It's on you. So it's important that people understand that. It's important that people understand their identities and moving congruently in a mission. There are different levels to which these things happen efficiently.
Yeah.
And now life happens, obviously, so not everything is always as mathematically, concise and congruent as we would like. But I think when we remove the emotion and look at these things formulaically, it puts us in a position to sort of understand what moves us in the direction we want to move.
Yeah.
347-855-8999.
Now let's take a case where the female in tribe, male in tribe, third party male in tribe. That situation where they were in tribe when they met, in tribe when they broke up, in tribe when the new relationship formed, and there's basically a beef between 3 in tribe members. One of them has to be a woman. Like, that gets settled the same if it was beef with 3 male tribe members?
I don't understand the scenario.
So, female joins the school, male joins the school, male joins the school. Same time, all 3 of them, same time.
Separately, though.
Separately, they don't know each other.
Right.
2 start dating, they break up, the girl dates the 3rd one, and then there is now conflict between those 3. Like, basically as if, let's say, 3 male members joined at the same time, and then they also had issues, like they actually had, problems with each other, started turning into a negative thing. what is there a difference in the way it's handled between the three that the girls included and the three that it's just three dudes that are fucking pissed at each other? All in tribe members.
In application, it's going to be different because of the dynamics of the relationships. Yeah. But I think conceptually, it's still the same. Yeah. What needs to happen is each individual needs to be assessed or maybe reminded of what the mission of the tribe is. Yeah. And the people who move against the mission of the tribe need to be removed. Yep. You know, that's just how it is. It's, you know, okay, you were dating this girl. She's now dating somebody else. Is that going to prevent you from being able to be here, adding energy to the room, training, like partnering up with them if need functional. Be? Like, if you're incapable of doing that, then you've managed to let these two people remove you from this tribe.
Yeah, which is just
because that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's you. You're allowed.
Because by the way, if those two new people are dysfunctional in their ability to, I will remove both of them.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to work with him anymore.
Like no problem. You go to a different school, you'll never see him again.
Yeah, it's simple.
You know? So it's really who is loyal to the mission, and not me. I was loyal to me.
Nope.
Who's loyal to the mission of the tribe?
Yeah.
You know, if this is a mission you want to pursue, then it doesn't take much to point out to you or to illustrate how pursuing that and pursuing some spite towards them cannot happen concurrently. No. You're either doing one or the other. You know, if they're saying, you know, listen, well, I can't fucking deal with her, no problem. You know, like, I hate to tell you this, but nice knowing you. I don't know, because I'm not going to tolerate you sabotaging the whole tribe just because of this open loyalty you have, because of circumstances, which, unfortunately, are based purely on emotion.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
347-855-8999.
That sounded like some loyalty matrix shit. Just saying.
It's I'm consistent or something.
Heard there's this program on the member site. It's called Loyalty Matrix. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
So, Nick Verfregbar?
Yeah.
Verfregbar.
Verfregbar.
He says, just don't bring your woman around. Your friends are not supposed to like your woman or otherwise. She would be their woman. Well, easier said than done, my friend. You know, like, we have functions that are built on, because, by the way, if you have a tribe that never brings the wives around, then you have a limit to the amount of functionality that tribe could actually represent. You know?
Something can be said for the kids. Don't bring the kids around. It's like, well,
I have a friend of mine who was an incredible jiu-jitsu guy, or is an incredible jiu-jitsu guy, but jiu-jitsu was a tremendous part of his life.
Yeah.
For over 15 years that I've known him, his wife, and he owns a school, his wife would never go to the school. His wife didn't know anybody in the school. His wife didn't connect. Like, none of his students knew who his wife was.
Yeah.
This guy was the head of the school. Nobody even knew who his wife was. You know, a couple of his senior guys had met her, but she had nothing to do with the school. Eventually, divorced.
Yeah.
Why? Because the school is too significant a part of his life
to not be a part of
for her to not be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's just it's how that works. So when you have people of great significance to you, to your functionality, right, your individual mission, right? So if little insight to function first. The individual mission is natural function. The individual mission is natural function. So the individual, he's going to do whatever it takes to be able to function, given his circumstances, given his environment. Well, if a component of that is, like in my friend's case, the school, but another component of that is his wife and kids, well, as soon as they cannot coexist, one of them has to go. So the whole thing is, the more congruent you can make everything, the more likely you are and the easier it is to remain functional.
100%, right? Yeah.
So if just think about it, like I'll illustrate it this way. If, let's say, we all know a friend whose wife is a cunt, right? Wife, cunt. We know that his relationship with us is altered by the fact that his wife is a cunt. And that we know if his wife was awesome, his wife got along with everybody, he would have a better relationship with the tribe.
It's a natural progression, yeah.
So the more congruent those things supporting one are, the easier it is to maintain them without coming to these sort of forks in the road where you have to choose one way or the other, So, your woman shouldn't be around in the capacity of you no longer being a proxy for her. If we're looking to maintain this very efficient, functional design. I'm not saying, like, listen, I'm of the, fuck, I'm trying not to get in trouble. But it is what it is. I don't appreciate the friend zone guys. Like, I put a post up the other day, the heart, and then as a friend.
That was really funny.
Fucking stare, I laugh every time.
Yeah, it's really, really funny.
If you're a guy who is one of these white knight, oh, this girl is my best friend thing, like, you're a fucking faggot. You're a fucking faggot. Like, if you're a guy, your best friend is a girl, like, you are fucking up as a man. And, I mean, it's really, I would love to have the debate on the merits of what I just said, but I stand by it completely. Like, you are a fucking faggot if your best friend is a girl. And you're not in any way romantically involved. It's not to say that you can't have a female friend, but to say that a female friend is the best you got, you are fucking up, because the amount of the friendship, the camaraderie, the alliance of two men is always going to surpass. If you remove the romantic element, if you remove the family element, it is always going to surpass your ability to connect with a woman as a friend. If you remove the romantic element, right? My wife, I don't think I'm closer to anybody than I am my wife. But if we weren't married, if we weren't a couple, like, I wouldn't be interested. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I just wouldn't be interested. What happened?
Oh, no, that's just refreshing.
Are we off?
No.
Oh, it's frozen.
Oh, then it's refreshing. We're off for a second. It'll come back. It happens once in a while. Unless the internet just died, which I don't think, because it came back. It's happened 4 or 5 times this whole episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one's taking a little longer.
Oh.
Yeah, it happens. Happened 3 or 4 times. Are you having no internet right now?
Oh, it says access.
Okay.
There we go. Coming back.
Coming back.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, it's little hiccups.
So
I agree with you.
So I think it's important that, and again, it's hard to say no value judgment when I'm calling a guy a faggot. I get it.
No, you're a fagala. That's what I wrote.
Fagala.
Fagala. We the fagala. That's funny.
But it's just it's so, to me, obvious. Obviously, men are meant to get along with men. Women are meant to get along with women. In a general sense. Can men and women get along and be friends? Sure. Will that always pale in comparison in its potential to men getting along with men, women getting along with women? In a general sense, absolutely. I think when you look at the people who, I think the show Friends did a great disservice to what people thought men and women friendships were supposed to be about. And it's funny because when you look at the show Friends, you got a bunch of people. Some of them were still fucking. Right?
They all ended up fucking each
Right.
other, except
But-
for the two.
Right, but
Weirdos.
but one of the things that you see is a lot of people, and I use New York as an example. Obviously, born and raised here, and the setting of Friends. It was in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Central Perks, New York.
yeah, you see all these people who want to sort of act like, and by the way, women much easier for women to get along with men as friends than it is for men to get along with
I
women.
agree with that.
You know, like I got news for you. If you have, okay, it's all heterosexuals here, right?
Okay.
Not fucking the homo curveball. I'm not dealing with.
No spectrum. Hetero.
No hetero.
Check.
If you have a guy and a girl, and they publicly, and maybe even individually, consider themselves to be best friends,
BFFs.
BFFs,
Best friends forever.
fucking big fucking faggots, right? So that's what BFF stands for. So, like that girl
Yeah.
looks at that guy as a guy,
As a woman.
as I wish I could have a guy that got along with me like this, but that I was also sexually attracted to.
Yeah. But I'm not.
Right? Because they're looking for the guy who they can get along with, like they get along with their big fucking faggot,
Yeah.
but they also are sexually attracted to. Because they don't understand. Maybe
like
they do understand, but they don't, like,
Yeah, I get it.
they're not attracted to these people.
It's like, I wish you had a dick,
But by the way,
but you don't.
the big fucking faggot, he wants to fuck her the entire time they're friends.
Most, yeah. And if not, then something.
Well, I already said that.
yeah,
I already
yeah,
said
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's why I prefaced this whole thing.
Yeah, true.
Like, if you have, and this is like, if any ladies are listening, but if you're listening to me, you already know this. Right? It's like I'm
All
on
the ladies
fucking,
in the house say yeah. And all you motherfuckers say a prayer.
it's like I'm on like NBC right now or something. It's like, you know, so if there are women who are either watching this live or listening, or watching this later on, if you have a male friend who is heterosexual, he wants to fuck you.
Newsflash.
There is absolutely no exceptions to this. He wants to fuck you. Now, I'm not saying a guy that's friendly with you, but a guy that outwardly expresses, "Oh, she's my best friend. She's my bestie. If he's heterosexual, he wants to fuck you.
He does. And if you ask him,
100%. Want to know why? Because it's biologically designed to be that way.
he can't help it. And
Now,
if
I'm not saying like you turn around and he's like,
he's got his hand. Don't touch the girl.
he's smelling her hair. She's driving, she looks around, he's like,
He's like right there.
smells her hair real quick.
Ready. Yeah, no.
I'm not saying it's like that. But you cannot think, like, at any point, I think this is a better way to put it.
Okay.
Rather than inferring somehow that he's preoccupied with that with the
He
whole
has a
time,
hair doll.
which he may very well be.
Yeah.
At any point, if you were like, "You want to fuck?" he'd be like, "Yep, yep."
Bam. Like fucking. Yep. I don't think he's gonna turn you down. But if you ask him, do you have feelings? He's gonna say no. And the more he says no, the more he's lying. But yeah.
Oh man, he wants to hit that in the
If
worst way.
if you threw it at him, he would catch it.
He'd catch that shit.
Catch it.
He was mouth.
Quick. Catch it quick. But yeah.
Oh man.
And I would say, in the roles reversed, not always the case.
Right.
You know,
Oh, and this is good. The American
Yeah.
Viking says
it's really good.
the biggest faggot is the boyfriend who lets his woman have a male best friend. So here's the thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that one.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like if like one of the things I told my wife when we got married, she was she was friends with a bunch of guys who she went to the gym with. Right? She was a member of a gym before she and I met, and we were married pretty quickly. From the time we met to the time we were married was like less than 3 months, or at 3 months. So I had to break it down in the beginning. And again, this is important to understand because women a lot of times are innocent. Like, it's not like the woman's going out looking for cock. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
This immediately became like a bar talk, by the
I
way.
noticed.
Like, the professionalism fucking gone. But anyway, it's not like she's going around, like trying to fucking sit on a fucking, pipe somewhere. She is probably very, very oblivious. And I say probably because I don't think all women are, but some women I absolutely believe are oblivious to the fact that every male friend they have wants to fuck them. So what winds up happening is two things. Like, why would I even tell my wife, which I did, like, yeah, you don't have any male friends anymore. Like, that's not the way it works. Like, you're friends with the male friends that we have.
Yeah.
And as my wife. And if you and I are gone, because they were friends with my girlfriend before you, and if it happens to be, they will be friends with the girl that comes after you. So, like, I'm your male friend now.
Look at me. I'm the male friend now.
I'm your male friend now. Right? So, it's not, and again, it's not to say that she can't have friends that are male. It's the whole BFF bestie shit.
Yeah, that whole thing.
So, like, my wife has friends who, like, in Brazil. Obviously, my wife's from Brazil. She has male friends in Brazil who she's known 20 years before she even met me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm in no way, inclined to ever tell her, well, you don't talk to them anymore. No. But if my wife declared her best friend as being some guy, that's not going to happen. If she asks me why, I'm going to say, is he heterosexual? She's going to go, yeah. I'm like, then he wants to fuck you. No, he doesn't. And I would say, well, I'm not asking you if he is.
This is
like, I'm letting you know that's what he wants to do. So, how do you feel about every single time you're with that guy, he wants to fuck you? How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Because if you're still, because now that means then we got some shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I would think that if, you're a married woman, you wouldn't want to hang out with a guy that wants to fuck you all the time.
Definitely not.
There's a problem inherent.
There is a problem.
So,
and
mind you, I never had this issue with my wife.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the guy who is okay with his wife having a best friend male who is heterosexual. Yeah. This is a guy that eventually she's going to be fucking somebody else. Or either she's going to fuck somebody else or a situation is going to arise that's going to be built on conflict. Because eventually some guy's going to express his willingness to fuck her. And then it's going to sabotage everything. And either she's going to act on it, either the husband or the boyfriend's going to have to act on it, or you create a situation where now the girlfriend or wife needs to lie to the husband.
Yep.
Where she tells him, no, I'm married, I don't like you like that, we're just friends, but then never tells the husband because trying to avoid conflict.
Yeah.
But now she's still friends with this guy who now has established that he wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
Right? All these things are very biological in nature.
Yeah.
Not a value judgment.
Yep.
It's
not fucking rocket surgery.
Right. It's not fucking rocket surgery. Oh, man. That was fun.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right, we got a call.
It's a locker room talk. That's funny.
You're on the line. Who am I speaking with? Hello? 469, you there? No, he's gone. So, it's so fucking simple.
Yeah.
But this is how it gets fucked up. Let me tell you.
Okay, how's it get fucked up?
It gets fucked up because nowadays you have these social justice warriors who want to be guilted into or want to embrace this cuck role, this friend zone faggot role.
And they're cool with it.
This white knight, pat me on the head role. And all of them think that they're going to get laid. All the guys think they're going to get laid.
Mm-hmm.
And all the women are trying to make them become women. So, oh man, how can I talk about this without getting in trouble? Well, don't tell my wife. So, when I was younger,
You were younger.
I was something of a bad boy, right? Right? I was the guy that marched to the beat of his own drum, like, I was scared of nobody. I wasn't invincible.
So when you're a jet, you're a jet.
When you're a jet, you're a jet. That's the way that works. Right? So there would be a lot of women, and you alpha men out there, you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of women who, just because of the strength of your character alone, are going to be sexually attracted to you. And it is a very, very natural phenomenon. You have in nature a drive towards women, or with women, towards mating with, right, in a natural context, mating with those males that can protect their young. Those dominant males get to choose, the women. And this is, you see in people, you see in deer season during the rut. Like there are times where you see this played out, and it's played out very biologically.
Yes, makes
Now,
sense.
as intellectual beings, of course we could suppress our biological inclinations. Of course we could do that.
Yeah.
Right? But that because we're repressing them does not mean that we've eliminated them. Nor does it mean in any way, shape, or form that they're not real. You know what I'm saying? So when you are the alpha, when you are the tough guy, you will find that a lot of women are going to respond to that. Even if there are women, and now they say this, and this isn't controversial, I don't feel, because I think, even the most feminist of women will acknowledge that she appreciates confidence.
Of course.
In her man.
Yeah.
She doesn't want a man who, kowtows and cowers to conflict. Because it doesn't take much for that man to be inept and become a liability, when he's of that way. But what you're seeing nowadays is because of the artificial nature of society, you're seeing those traits ignored as if they no longer matter. You're seeing the concept of being dominant as being dismissed as some sort of obsolete component of a savage world. We don't have to kill the fucking we don't have to kill the tribe people from down the river anymore. So who's out? But who the feeder is plays out in every interaction. And the people who are feeding, by the way, be the feeder, PSYOC, concept.
Yep.
It's how do you control your life? You feed as much as possible. You're the one who's controlling the course of events. You're the one putting things in motion. So the idea of somebody being confident is really just an almost watered down or engineered to fit the society form of dominant behavior.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So when you have these people who, with women who deny that their BFFs want to fuck them, I'm willing to say that many of them, I don't know if it's more, less, half, whatever it is, but many of them don't realize, they don't believe that that's the case.
Yeah.
Because the guy's going, no, we're friends. I don't know.
No way, I would never do that.
He wants to fuck you.
Give it a shot, see what happens. We just got a lot of people out of the friend zone today. If the girls listening are like, I'm going to take a shot. I don't believe them. I'm going to test this theory. No more friend zone.
We got a lot of guys in the friend zone. They're like, yeah, don't watch that Pressure Project. That show's bullshit. I was wrong. Because I'm about to out their asses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just so fucking, elementary.
Yes.
The whole friend zone thing. If you're a gay dude, this is the gay curveball.
Gay best friend.
I don't know, what it's like to be, if you're the gay best friend.
Totally different.
Of course, I guess you could be, maybe you can't be friends with guys then.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
Right?
I guess not.
I don't know. I'm not my fucking, my wheelhouse right now.
But sometimes the gay best friend gets fucked too, but it's just he doesn't like it as much.
Just random insertions.
Just saying crazy shit. Gives it a shot. He's like, I'll try it. All right, back to friends. He's like, why not? Yeah.
American Viking says, I was friends with a chick, but I let her know I'd fuck her given the chance. Now we date.
Yep, pretty much.
That's the way it works out, by the way. And by the way, I think, a little bit less crudely, I will put it. Jesus. That is the way courting happens. You become friendly.
Sure.
But it is like a development. There are rungs on a ladder.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain point where we're friends. It's probably 2 rungs before I got you bent over fucking a piece of furniture. Like that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Pressure Project Dating Service. If you're in the friend zone, that's the next program. How to get out of the friend zone.
How to get out of the friend zone. It's going to be fucking me instructing you how to load a fucking Glock and put it to your temple.
You're out. Yeah.
All right, what else is going on here? The very thing that is from Nicked.
Yes.
The very thing that we are reduced as a 21st century society to talk about alpha and beta like some kind of fucking zoologist shows how fucked up and derailed society is now, right? So I'm missing a little punctuation, make that easier to read, but I get the point. This is what we have to do. We have to talk about animals in the wild in order to fucking validate observations about human behavior.
Yes.
So I get you, and I agree.
Yes.
I agree, absolutely. Ricardo says, social justice warriors equals pitiful half men. It's true. I ain't half. That might be a... It might be a little
overestimation,
generous,
yeah. Quarterman. Quarterman.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. What else is going on? I don't fucking know. 347-855-8999.
Have you ever seen Casino? With the fucking...
Of course.
James Woods character.
Which one's James Woods?
James Woods, so... Did De Niro and Sharon Stone.
De Niro's the bookie who starts running the casino.
Sharon Stone's his,
The whore.
Yep. And
James Woods. James Woods is the boyfriend. That,
He's the friend that she gives him money and...
Right. She fucking abuses.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely.
That's a fucked up. I said that.
Yeah. James Woods is the bad boy who's having Sharon Stone manipulate De Niro.
Yeah.
In Casino.
And then it turns into that she starts fucking his friend.
Right. Yeah. But, this is...
It gets them all killed.
Yeah.
Gets them all killed eventually.
That scene with the fucking, the bats.
One of my favorite scenes because he's doing an internal monologue and then he gets hit with the bat. He's like, ah! And he stops talking.
And then the sounds are just the bats.
Yeah, just hitting him in the head. And he's still alive. They're throwing dirt on him. It's a good fucking scene.
That is real.
It's a good scene.
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
That is awesome. There was a while, not so much now, but there was a while where I used to get confused between Goodfellas and Casino. Mm-hmm. I'd blur a couple of those scenes, But
I hear now the rumors they're making. I heard you paint houses.
Oh, really?
That full cast, like De Niro, Pacino, fucking Joe Pesci, everyone.
Nice. Yeah. Nice, yeah.
With Al Pacino thrown in there, because basically the Goodfellas crew with Al Pacino.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that should be interesting because that's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Goose was telling us about that.
About the book.
Yeah, about the book.
Well, it was like a hitman, right?
Yeah. I heard you paint houses.
All right. 347-855-8999. What the fuck else did I want to talk about? I want to talk about something else.
I do not know.
I don't know.
We went over the membership. We went over PressureCon.
Yeah. Went over that. Linda, okay. Dan Zena. What do you guys think of Linda Sarasor? Is that the Muslim girl?
I don't know. Who is that? I'll look it up. Because I don't recognize the name.
Isn't that remember the Muslim girl that helped organize the women's march? What Jesse Lee Peterson calls the Dirty Women March? Yeah, her. She was one of the organizers of that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what do I think about her? I think she's a fucking degenerate, Sharia-loving fucking, traitor to her American identity. From what I understand, she was born here, so she's absolutely American. But she's also a tremendous critic of those municipalities around the country who made Sharia law illegal, officially, I guess. I mean, by the way, any other set of law like that is not our law is not legal by definition because it's not our law. But some people have sort of made it official, like Sharia law is not allowed. Like these little shadow governments and these Muslim enclaves of people who are abiding by, fucking rules and laws from lands that are not our own.
And then eventually, if you let them, turn into no-go zones.
Well, this is exactly what happened.
She has arranged marriage when she was 17.
She did?
Yep.
I'll tell you what, this is a little controversial.
No.
Maybe. I'm not opposed to arranged marriages. I'm opposed to forced arranged marriages.
Agreed. Like, you mean
so
like...
Now, but like if an arranged marriage means that you're forced to marry somebody, then I'm opposed to it.
Yeah.
So terms are important, right? Words matter.
Words matter.
Words mean things. I'm not opposed to arranged marriages. I'm opposed to forced arranged marriages.
Like the King of England marries the Queen of Spain.
Well, did I ever tell you the story about the Albanian girl in the bakery?
Let's hear it. Maybe.
So,
tell me a lot of stories.
There was this, it's not bakery, it's a deli. There was this Albanian girl, right? She was probably 17, 18 years old.
Okay.
And she worked in a local deli. It's since gone out of business.
Okay.
Fucking greatest deli that ever existed, in my opinion, but whatever. Neighborhood changed, nobody wanted good fucking super asad anymore. Anyway. Prosciutto, what's that? Old ham?
You're fucking up.
Anyway, she worked in this deli.
Yeah.
And the girl was beautiful.
Okay.
I mean, as pretty a girl as you're going to see. Not like model exotic, just like...
I get it.
Just you just like looking at her.
Salt of the earth. Joke.
So she was just a beautiful girl. And she was also a sweetheart.
Yeah, nice. Good personality.
Super nice.
I get it. Girl next door.
At the time, I had a girlfriend, so I never, was interested in pursuing anything. But, you see a girl and you're like, Jesus, this girl's fucking beautiful.
Sure.
And she was always so nice, and she was a good worker, but she was Albanian.
Yeah.
Brother would drop her off to work. Her brother or father would pick her up from work. And I was there at the time. This is back when I used to work in a funeral home. Mm-hmm. And we'd go there for lunch, and there was a huge lunch rush in this deli. And you'd see, because you're waiting online, a lot of people know each other, they're from the neighborhood. Everybody taking a fucking swing at this girl. Everybody taking a swing at this girl.
Yeah.
And she was always polite. But one of the things she would always say is, my family is from this village, this town in Albania, and when it's time for me to get married, I'm marrying somebody from that village.
Yeah.
And she would say that my parents will, and you could tell, she was sort of adding a little Americanized version of the story.
Yeah.
My parents will help me decide, who the right person to marry is going to be. But she would say, and you could tell, and the reason I say, I don't mind arranged marriages, so long as they're not forced, is you could tell that this girl was completely, okay with
on board
there being an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
By the way, throughout history, that's how you consolidate power, and avoid war and conflict.
Makes sense. Join the kingdoms.
But she was completely okay with it. So the arranged marriage things, a lot of times people throw shit together and they're like, yeah, fuck this and fuck that. We're like, no, don't just lump everything together. You know what I mean? So,
of course.
Talking about her arranged marriage at 17, now is a girl who was born in Brooklyn, who's a Muslim, getting an arranged marriage at 17 very atypical? Yeah. But I would say, if anything, it's an indication that there's probably more shit that is very incongruent with our culture going on. Yeah, because having an arranged marriage in this day and age is not typical.
Yeah, that's really why I mentioned it. Because it kind of goes towards her system that is kind of different from what we do.
Right. No, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
But I agree with you. Like, yeah, but the forced marriage, that's not good. And forced marriage to like a 9-year-old is also not good.
Right.
Not good at all.
But didn't he marry her at like 6, and he had sex with her at 9?
Something like that, yeah.
Right.
They got married early, but he was a gentleman for
Right. Fucking
right
guy.
before she.
Guy
He was gonna wait.
That guy aces.
He was like, maybe I'll wait till double digits, but he's like, fuck it.
Fuck that.
Fuck it. Yeah. Cardo asked if we saw Logan.
Oh man, is that what we're gonna do?
We can. It's good.
We should.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah.
Logan.
Logan. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. Put it in context.
we went to go see Logan.
Yes.
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I still hated it.
I understand that. I agree.
Why did they have to wait
To the last one.
to the last one, and where Wolverine was fucking weak,
They did that.
in order to do a fucking real Wolverine character?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, holy shit, could you imagine the Wolverine set in Japan, like, done right? Like, with the fucking ninja and,
Ninjas killing people,
like,
blood everywhere,
like,
fucking...
done in the Logan fashion, but with that storyline. And
Well,
not the one that they follow,
Well, I
but the
get it,
one
yeah.
from the actual
No,
comic.
like, my thing is, like, with Logan, it's so... Or Wolverine. With Wolverine, making him weak, it does not work. Just put more people for him to kill. He's got to kill 1,000 people in this room. That's what I want to see. That makes it difficult. Now there's 1,000 people he's chopping to pieces. I don't want to see him old and weak. And now I would say
Adamantium's poisoning him.
they started throwing some stupid shit in there.
It's
I
like
like Professor X fucking almost killing everyone though. That was kind of cool.
I thought that was cool. I hated that he was a fucking idiot who, spoiler alert, turn off the fucking thing, you haven't seen it, who gets fucking killed like that.
Yeah.
Do you realize he dies in the back of a pickup truck?
Yeah, he does. Professor X.
Professor X dies in the back of a fucking like an idiot too, a senile idiot.
Yeah.
Guy, come on, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Fucking first X-Men movie ever. It was such a drought of good comic book movies that we were fooled into thinking it was good. That's what happened with X-Men Part 1. And that's how we accepted Wolverine in the beginning. Not everybody accepted that Wolverine.
I know, Bridge.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, so then they make the fucking first Wolverine movie, which is terrible. The second one has potential, but it's fucking terrible. And then they finally give one that's decent. But it's not great.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of Wolverine because of who I was in my life when I was reading Wolverine. I was a teenager who was a loner, who was very violent,
Yeah.
who had a rough time getting along with people. Like, if you were in any way different from me, I had a very difficult time connecting with you.
Yeah.
You know, when people talk about the loyalty matrix and all the, like, this is something that I've struggled with my entire life, which is what has forced me to find the formulas to make things work. But I was also, I'll give you another example, I was a fan of Lestat, the Anne Rice novels.
Yeah, Vampire Lestat.
And to me, Wolverine was very much like a vampire in that he was destined to be alone. He wouldn't die. Mm-hmm. He'd have all these conflicts. He had a rough time finding alliances because he didn't know how to deal with people.
Yeah.
Like, he was too prone to just say, fuck it, and just leave, you know. But a weakness was never a component of what his identity was. You know, it's like Superman's always got to avoid fucking kryptonite. Batman's, you know, he's tormented from his fucking parents being murdered. One of the things when it comes to Wolverine, it was always his inability to connect with people.
Yeah.
That was, you know, he's like a reformed fucking savage who had all this experimentation under him, but him being weak was never the allure of who he was.
Yeah, take away his powers. Never like, oh, that's great, let's see that.
Right, it's like, no, the whole thing is he can't die.
Yeah.
So he has to almost he has to control himself enough to be able to connect with people. So him being weak to the point where he discovers his humanity because he's at the end of his rope, or he's facing his mortality. Him facing his mortality was never a component of who he was. His mortality was never the obstacle. The obstacle was always self-control.
Yeah.
I need to find a reason to connect with these people. Not, oh my God, I'm going to die. I need to make everything right.
Yeah. No,
like, that is not who Wolverine was.
No.
So when I say I thought it was a good movie,
Yeah.
but I still fucking hated it.
No, yeah.
It's like, change those characters into comic book characters or just characters in general who we don't know. I think it's a great movie.
Yep.
But fuck, man, it's like, this is the Wolverine we get in the last one where they finally...
It's the best one.
Like,
easily.
And I agree with that,
Yeah.
you know? But it's like, why can't we see Wolverine, like, in Japan, walking around like that? Like, just fucking tearing people's heads apart with his claws.
Yeah. Like,
you know?
Unstoppable killing machine, Wolverine, not old and dying. I forget how it ended. Like, I remember, but I forget the specifics. Like, for some reason, like, there's a gap in something that happened because probably I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Amphetamine says, I want to see Wolverine take off Sabretooth's head. Like, that is what we deserve.
Yeah.
Like, we deserve to see a fight where, like, it looks almost like people are almost fucking vomiting in a movie.
Yeah, it should be fucking disgusting. Like, amazing.
Like Hostel. You know, like fucking the Hostel movies?
Yep.
Like, there should be points where that is the violence that you see.
There should be fucking blood and guts dripping off his hands. Like, just, like, mutilation.
Yeah.
He's got fucking razor claws. Like, I don't want to see his claws not work. There's one part where, like, the claw doesn't come out all the way. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
But, yeah. But, like I said, that was better. Deadpool definitely paved the way for some R-rated shit to happen, so that was a good thing. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think if Deadpool isn't successful, they don't make this Wolverine. You know? Because they had the chance with the one where it was actually set in Japan.
Right.
They tried to kind of say, oh, we're going to...
Yeah, but
they didn't
still
do it.
Fucking gamed it. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
No blood.
It's like, we gotta have blood. I don't understand. I was just talking to little guy the other day. One of the guys here that my nephew that works at the school, and we were talking about the different characters, how different studios own the different characters.
Yeah, it's all fucking a mess.
It's all a fucking mess. It's like, how the fuck did this happen? Apparently, Marvel was broke a few years ago.
Yeah, Marvel was fucked.
Just let people write checks for fucking
for the bigger,
parts of their
for like
soul.
the really big character, X-Men. Like, they gave it to Sony. They were like, here you go. Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
You know, and then once Marvel kind of called, they made Iron Man, which is like I mean, Iron Man's popular, but he's not like a top tier guy.
They made him a top tier guy.
But they did, and then they were now they're like fuck. They got Spider-Man back though. They did.
It's like Mystique. All of a sudden, Mystique is like a fucking a central fucking figure. Like, get the fuck out of here.
That's silly. That's because of the actress they cast.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But these are the people who are deciding these fucking movies. You know.
Ridiculous.
Now, I get it. You got to make money. I get it. I understand. But there's a reason why fucking merchants were fucking looked down upon in strong societies.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they didn't create. They just fucking leveraged.
Yeah. Well, they got Spider-Man back, and they did a good job with him. That's a good thing. Maybe we'll get the X-Men back and do a good job with them. They should just write $1 billion check. Just do like how Disney bought Star Wars. Just fucking buy the X-Men back. Write a fucking check. It's over. But now Deadpool's doing so well, so it kind of fucks everything up again.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to do a whole... Deadpool 2's coming out. It's going to be fucking... And they're going to do an X-Force, and they're going to do a whole fucking franchise based on that.
Right.
And that'll continue into however.
God. I don't know. All right, we're going to call it a day.
Cool.
We're going to end it there. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. You know, thepressureproject.com is our website. Info@thepressureproject.com is our contact email. The Pressure Project members, now is the time to join. I've gotten incredibly positive feedback from episode 1 of my Function First series. We explained, and you can go back to the explanation at the it was like at the hour 20 mark, where we went into the different memberships on the site.
Yep.
But we'll also say you have to be a member in order to attend PressureCon.
Yes.
It is in July. The lead time you have from now until then is very, very doable.
Ample.
It is ample. Make it happen. If you're a member of the site, you need to be a PressureCon. There is going to come a time where I assume either the level of PressureCon, meaning the size of the event, or the stage of my journey is such that these types of opportunities aren't going to be available to you guys anymore. The people who have the first PressureCon, you guys know, and this is the way life works, that's never going to be reproduced. So I know it's not going to be reproduced, so I make changes to make sure that it's going to be powerful in a different way. But eventually what will happen is these small, intimate settings are not going to be there. I honestly envision, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, there being a conference with fucking, with 1,500 people. We rent out a fucking convention hall and I have speakers and vendors and why not? Let's put this together. But we're not there. We're at the point where it's really just facilitating that sort of that white hot core, of what this movement is going to be, bringing that to its most powerful before we expand. And those of you that are able to attend PressureCon this year will be a part of that, which is why you guys should really not miss it. But I'm going off on a tangent again. The Pressure Project members, join today. Check out the different programs. 2-year members, check out Function First. Legacy members, check out Function First. I am incredibly pleased. It took me a while to make this because I didn't know how I was going to sort of format and present the content. Where I wound up being before I made it, I am extremely, extremely pleased with. And I think you guys will get a lot out of it. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. I know you guys are busy spending time with us. It never goes unnoticed. So the gratitude for that. And as always, brothers, pressure to power.